All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to Apostle and Elders in New York, GMS. Decided to take your arc around the world is teaching the truth. My name is Maya Ka'al Nagab with Chicago branch of GMS. And just a disclaimer. All right, we are Hebrew Israelites. We are not black Hebrew Israelites. We don't identify with anything black. Black is a color, not a nationality. And also, we are not affiliated, or basically we have nothing to do with any black identity extreme group. All right. Make that clear. All right. So this right here, this is a basically from RT America. It's about meth make a lethal comeback. Alongside this opioid crisis among so-called mainstream America. When I say so-called mainstream America, we're talking about Esau, the so-called white man. All right, white people, so-called white people. All right, because they're red. All right, that guy's skin is not matching this white background of white fonts that's on his screen right behind him. All right, this guy's red, man. All right, you can see the red right here within different ranges of his skin and stuff. Okay. All right, so get right here, you know, because years Esau been had drug problem. You have to remember these people are the like I said, Malachi chapter 1. These people are the border of wickedness, man. All right, they devils among themselves, man. You know, even they own leaders, Amalekites. All right, are the Jewish people. All right, Jewish means something like the Jew, not exactly a Jew. All right, because they're not the real Jews. All right, even their leaders don't give a damn about them, and poison their water, everything, give them drugs and stuff, man, and kidnap their children for satanic sacrifice ritual purposes. All right. So even their own leaders don't give a damn about them. Among themselves don't give a damn until they commit crimes against each other, man. But they got the so-called 84% high, 84% high percentage among 84% of so-called white on white crime, Edomite crime, man. Probably higher than that, man. You know, it's gotta be higher than that. All right, so they basically good. Esau good at hiding his dirt. All right, it says Psalms 85:11 says, "Truth shall spring out of earth, and righteousness shall look down." Righteousness, truth shall spring out of earth about these so-called white people, man. All right, what they did in the past. All right, and what they're doing now. All right, and see them. And the thing is, Most High is basically turn up the heat, man. You know, making them destroying themselves, man. All right, why? Because they put their hands on the children of Israel, which are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. They the ones who put crack cocaine in our neighborhood on a train, along with guns and stuff. And this happened in I believe in the 80s, either early 80s. I'm trying to think what it happened. Probably like the very early 80s and stuff. They put guns and crack cocaine on a train in the Israelite neighborhood in California. All right, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Los Angeles, California. All right, because they knew Jake would take it up. You know, because I have to remember my people in a one of all things. You know, and some of they endorsed Jake, man. They had Jake selling drugs to their own people, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. All right, and then Jake fuck up, and they dismissed Jake and shit, you know. So you know this devil got a lot to pay for, and this is this opioid crisis among them. It's all about. All right. So there you go, right here. All right.
We had told you that pharmaceutical companies had lied to Americans, all but lying Americans into addiction by telling them that opioids were not at all addictive. Only 1% of persons who took the opioids would end up with an addiction, they said. Well, we showed you that's just not true. When rules were finally put into place to stop doctors from prescribing these opioids, the addicts turned to heroin, which is a problem that we've been seeing and reporting on for the last year. Well, now it's changing once again. Now they're changing to meth. This is an RT America special report concerning an extremely important topic.
See, this proves, man, you can't escape. You can't escape the hand of your howl, man. All right. Once you seen those demons after you, they see those angels after you, man. Those death angels. All right. Those destroying angels, man. You can't run from the Most High, man. All right. You can't escape from them. It says Deuteronomy 32 and 39. It says, see now that even I am he, there is no power with me. I kill, I make alive, I wound, and I heal, neither is there any that could deliver out of my hand. All right. So, you can't deliver from the Most High destruction, man. All right. He got your number whether you like it or not. All right. You can't escape it. All right. So the curses, like I said, Deuteronomy 30, verse 7, the curses come back on enemies, Esau, so-called white man of other nations, man. All right. You getting stronger on these drugs. You become homeless. All right. Your economy fell and everything. All right.
For our nation. The correspondent is Natasha Sweet.
While the country's fight against opioids is a work in progress, methamphetamine use across the U.S. is astounding. And Riverside County, just about an hour east of Los Angeles, plays a huge role when it comes to supplying the rest of the country. This week, President Trump signs bipartisan legislation confronting the opioid crisis. It's the deadliest drug overdose epidemic in U.S. history.
We're gathered together today to address America's drug and opioid crisis, and a crisis it is, which now claims 70,000 lives a year.
A year in the making.
Most likely triple that number. All right. You have to remember Esau lies. All right. He's a liar, man. All right.
President and his administration are working to tackle opioids, and in the meantime, skyrocketing rates of methamphetamine almost going unnoticed in the headlines. According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, from 2010 to 2014, the number of drug overdoses involving methamphetamine more than doubled, jumping from 1,400 to nearly 4,000. The DEA says since 2014, the availability of meth continues to increase.
I would say meth is the number one problem here.
Alicia Atkins, a group supervisor for the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency who's been with the department for 21 years, says Riverside, California is a significant destination for the drug cartels. So what role does Riverside County play when it comes to getting the meth from the border?
Basically, Riverside is the point where most of the meth lands that's manufactured in Mexico.
Atkins says the meth goes from the border to San Diego, then to a checkpoint in Murrieta.
Most of the meth that comes over from the border lands here in Riverside and is placed in stash houses until it's distributed out across the country.
Now, in the early 2000s, the shake and bake method using cold medicines dominated the source of meth for the U.S. But the Combat Methamphetamine Epidemic Act of 2005 banned over-the-counter sales of cold medicines that contained pseudoephedrine.
That kind of closed shop for the little mom-and-pop local labs that were around, and it left a large vacuum. And the Mexican cartels stepped in and filled the void.
One of the main differences with the meth coming south of the border is its purity, between 95 to 100%. In the early 2000s, meth would run $8,000 to $10,000 per pound, and now the cartels are selling it much cheaper, between $1,800 and $3,500 a pound. Another form of methamphetamine coming across the border is liquid meth.
It poses a problem in the community because they use chemicals to convert it from liquid to crystal, and those chemicals are very flammable.
Special Agent Frank Pepper, in charge of the Los Angeles Field Division and Riverside District Office, says he's been seeing more liquid meth showing up in various containers, even in laundry detergent jugs.
The drug cartels are always using new means and methods to get their product up here.
As drug laws change, some states like California now recognize methamphetamine as a misdemeanor as opposed to a felony. Yet, according to the U.S. Customs Border and Protection, over the past
All right.
8 years, there has been a tenfold increase in meth seizures. Agent Pepper says agents are able to make arrests through another means.
As a federal agency, we're taking our prosecutions through the federal channels, and we're addressing it federally.
Right now, federal authorities say that many of the resources are going toward fighting the opioid epidemic, but doesn't change the fact that methamphetamine is still dangerous and that people are still overdosing on it. In Riverside, Natasha Sweet, RT.
All right, so there you go, man. All right, the curses come off us. It's going on to our enemies. You know, they mock us, the nation of Israel, so-called Negroes, Latino, Native Americans. All right, in the early 80s, I say around about 85 to the and especially in the 90s, man. They always put in the media that Jake is these crackhead babies. The father leaving, everybody on crack and everything, father leaving the home and shit like that. All right, so now it's coming back on them, man. You know, they distributed drugs and then they, you know, act like it just came out of nowhere. Jake just got crack out of the air and shit and vilified Jake and the media. So now it's the curses come back on them, man, for what they did to our people, man. All right, and this is just one of many millions of things they did to the so-called Negroes, Latino, Native American, while the Israelites, man. So, you know, Esau, you finished, you through, your queendom coming to the end. All right, you're going to slavery. Then after 1,000 years, hey, you toasty. All right, as it says in Mortal Kombat. All right, so you know, shalom, ball.